And welcome back to video number 2. If you're looking at buying a boiler and you want some advice from experts, then I've got the boiler doctor here, Brendon the boiler doctor. Goes nicely. We're going to cover some of the myths and misconceptions, and Brendon's going to give us the 3 biggest myths around buying a boiler. And so, what's myth number 1?
Yeah, look, Richard, all boilers aren't created equal. There's certainly some misconceptions around boiler plant. A lot of the technology available here in New Zealand is old. We're talking 30, 40-year-old. Hasn't moved on.
Right.
Globally, there's better technology available now. So, essentially, the majority of the manufacturers in New Zealand are offering boiler plant that it's been around for a long time. Nothing's changed.
So myth number 1 is that what's around at the moment is actually up to date, or is what's available. Whereas in actual fact,
it's couldn't be further from
there's
the truth.
far more sophisticated stuff around available today. But not everybody necessarily has access to it.
Yeah, essentially, boiler efficiency over what is available now could be as much as 10% better or more.
Right.
And that at the end of the day turns into a big figure when you're talking, some of the fuel costs that our clients are faced with.
Right.
A lot of the older relay logic or very basic PLC control systems that are available are not very interactive.
Right.
And the boiler may have a fault, but you almost need to be a specialist to know what it is.
Right.
We've developed a system where we have an animated colour interface, human interface, and you can see at a glance how the boiler's operating.
Okay, so like a photocopy where you can see where the paper's stuck.
Yeah, kind of, yeah, with an alarm history or fault history.
Oh, okay.
Telling you what the fault is.
So the new stuff has that capacity, whereas the older stuff is just you have to go around. Yeah,
you may have a light, a wee collector fault light, or some light comes up. You've got an alarm, but really, other than the fact the boiler's stopped, you have no idea
You've got to haul
what
someone
the issue is.
Yeah.
There seems to be a misconception that they have to be hot and sweaty, and the boiler house has to be stinking hot.
Right. People with sweat all over their heads.
Yeah, and if you lean on something, you're going to remove skin. I mean, things have certainly come a long way there.
Right.
Our boiler plant typically, the surfaces are under 50 degrees C, for instance. Okay. Which is unheard of, with other boiler plant available here in New Zealand. So, same with the actual flue gases from the boiler. Typically, in the past, flue gas temperatures would typically be between 240 and 270 degrees C. I mean, the boiler range we have available, we start at 195 degrees C and work down to 60 degrees C.
What are some of the rip-offs, and there may not be none, but what are some of the things that people should really look out for when they're buying a boiler?
Oh, look, boiler salesmen, everyone will tell you they've got the most efficient boilers available on the market.
Right.
I mean, that's one of the biggies.
So basically get your comparative stats. Is it easy to get a comparison sheet or something? So
for sure. Yeah. I mean, typically in New Zealand, the smaller boilers in the range will be like a 2-pass boiler, possibly with a dry back or reverse flame. They're economic to build, but not very efficient. I mean, our range from 600 kilowatt, we're 3-pass wetback from very low in the range. No one else offers that, but I mean, there's a lot more work involved. There's a lot more steel involved, but the benefits and the cost savings are huge. And actually specifying that boiler up front, we could be talking the difference between, 76, 77% efficiency, right up to, closer to 90, depending on what options.
Cool. All right, thanks, Brendon.